All right, everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be diving into a topic that a lot of you have been requesting, which is the art of attraction and building relationships.
But but this isn't like your typical dating advice, is it?
Exactly, yeah. What makes this deep dive really unique is the source material.
Yeah.
It's not the usual books or articles that we often dig into.
Right.
Instead, um, we've got a collection of audio recordings, almost like someone's personal playbook on dating.
Ah, okay, interesting. So what kind of stuff are we talking about here?
Oh, it gets wild. We're talking about using Wonder Woman Barbie doll,
Ah,
but with some interesting modifications, let's just say.
okay.
And then there's this whole thing about like a shoe sale shout that apparently works wonders.
Mm.
But I think the wildest part has got to be the connection he makes between heated arguments and, well, incredible sex.
Whoa, 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 hold on. That's a lot to unpack.
Right. Definitely not your typical dating advice.
Yeah, no kidding. So where do we even begin with all this?
Well, I think the first thing that jumped out at us was this thing he calls the sequence of attraction.
Yeah, he talks about that a lot, doesn't he? So what's the gist of it?
So it's this three-step process. Yeah. Attract, connect, venue change.
Okay, so it all starts with sparking that initial interest.
Right, like making a woman instantly feel drawn to you.
I see.
And he's really big on projecting this air of superiority and coolness, right from the get-go.
Yeah, but I imagine there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he talks about that too. Like, it's not about being cocky or arrogant.
Yeah.
It's more about demonstrating confidence, wit, having a strong presence.
Okay, I'm curious about the shoe sale opener.
Me too. It sounded bizarre at first, but it actually makes sense when he explains it.
So how does it work?
Basically, imagine, you're walking past a group of women
Okay.
and you just shout out shoe sale. It's unexpected, plays on their interests.
Yeah.
And it instantly lightens the mood.
I see. It's like a playful way to grab their attention.
Exactly. And it shows you understand those little things that pique a woman's interest.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's all about getting her wanting to engage.
Right. But the recordings also touch on this whole idea of memorized routines versus genuine connection.
Ah, that's an interesting distinction. So what's his take on that?
Well, he provides some examples of openers and things like that, almost like scripts.
Okay.
But he stresses that it's not about robotic delivery.
Yeah.
It's about owning your approach, being present, adapting to the situation.
So it's like having tools in your toolbox,
Yeah, it's a good analogy.
but knowing when and how to use them effectively.
Exactly. It's got to be authentic. You need that genuine connection.
Absolutely. I'm guessing body language plays a big role in all of
Oh,
it.
for sure. And he actually talks about that, how he used the same opener in 100 different places.
Really?
Yeah, and got totally different results, proving it's not just what you say. It's how you say it, your body language, tone of voice, eye contact.
So basically, confidence and authenticity are key.
Big time. Women can spot a fake a mile away.
For sure.
It's got to be real, like you're genuinely enjoying yourself, and showing genuine interest.
Right. Now, once you've sparked that initial interest, what's next?
Well, that's where things get a little more physical.
Oh, okay. Like what?
He talks a lot about physical touch.
Interesting. That's where some guys get nervous, I bet.
Yeah, but he insists that women want to be touched.
Oh.
Just, by the right guy, someone they feel comfortable with.
So it's all about understanding the nuances of touch and escalating gradually.
Exactly. He cautions against coming on too strong too soon.
Yeah.
But also, debunks that whole myth of waiting weeks or months.
Ah, so no more awkwardly waiting for that third date handhold?
Well, not necessarily. It's about reading her cues,
Right.
He gives these really clever examples like asking for a neck massage or a back scratch.
Oh, I like that. So it's like giving her an excuse to initiate touch.
Exactly. It's playful, creates that connection, and lets her take the lead without feeling pressured.
Makes sense. So we've covered attracting and connecting. What's the third part of the sequence again?
Venue change. And that's where his advice on setting up your home environment comes in.
Interesting. So we're talking more than just a tidy apartment, right?
Oh, yeah. He gets really specific about creating an atmosphere that feels different, inviting.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What kind of specifics are we talking about?
He talks about comfortable furniture, soft lighting,
Yeah.
interesting artwork, a clean bathroom, and a well-stocked movie collection.
Wow, he really thought of everything. So it's about creating a vibe, a space where things can naturally progress.
Exactly. Setting the stage for intimacy where things can flow organically.
I like that. It's all about creating that sense of anticipation and signaling that this is something special.
Right. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we got to talk about the elephant in the room,
Yeah.
approach anxiety. That fear of even starting a conversation.
Ah, yes. The dreaded approach anxiety. What's his take on that?
He's pretty blunt about it, actually.
Yeah.
He says, practice, practice, practice.
Okay, so no magic bullet.
Not really, no.
It's about facing your fears head on.
Exactly. He acknowledges the fear, but assures us that repeated exposure helps you overcome it.
So just like anything, the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
Right. And there's an interesting point he makes about calmness being attractive.
Oh, that's intriguing. Tell me more about that.
Well, he says that when you approach with confidence and relaxation,
Yeah.
it actually helps her feel at ease.
Yeah.
Because it signals you're not desperate, you know?
That makes sense. So it's not just about faking confidence, it's about becoming comfortable with yourself.
Exactly. And he goes on to emphasize this whole idea of lifestyle when it comes to attraction.
Well, here we go. So does this mean I need a sports car and a mansion to attract women?
Not at all. He actually debunks that myth right away.
Phew, that's a relief. So what does he mean by lifestyle then?
It's about living a life driven by passion, goals,
Yeah.
interesting hobbies, and surrounding yourself with inspiring people.
So it's more about having a life worth sharing, not showcasing material possessions.
Exactly. It's about having substance, being genuinely interesting.
Okay, I like that. So it's about showcasing your unique personality, your passions.
Right. Like he uses the example of having unique wines or an interesting coffee table book.
Oh, I see. It's like those little details that hint at your personality and taste.
Exactly. It's about showing, not telling.
Makes sense. But what about moving beyond that initial attraction? Building something more meaningful.
Ah, the age-old question. And he tackles that too.
He does. So what's his take on long-term relationships?
Well, he's big on this concept of mutual self-validation.
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
Basically, he suggests finding partners who are already secure.
Yeah.
They don't need constant reassurance.
So it's about finding someone who complements you, not completes you.
That's a great way to put it. Both individuals bringing their own strengths and confidence to the table.
Yeah, that makes sense. You don't want to be constantly trying to fill each other's voids.
Right. And he also warns against spreading yourself too thin with too many relationships.
Oh, I can see how that would be a problem. It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of work, friends, social media.
Exactly. And it can leave you with little time or energy for a romantic partner.
Yeah, definitely. So it's about prioritizing quality time and genuine connection with your partner.
Absolutely. And now, for a topic that might raise some eyebrows.
What's that?
Sex. The speaker has some fascinating and maybe even controversial thoughts on this.
Okay, I got to hear. Lay it on me.
Well, he unpacks this unexpected connection between a passionate argument and amazing sex.
Wait, are you serious? He's saying fighting can lead to better sex?
Yeah, it sounds crazy, right?
It's definitely not what I was expecting. So how does he explain that?
Well, he suggests that those intense emotions, even anger, can actually amplify the experience.
So it's like channeling that energy into something positive.
Exactly. It's about using that emotional intensity to fuel the connection.
Instead of letting it tear you apart.
Right. And he also encourages couples to make sex unpredictable and exciting.
Okay, give us the details. What kind of unpredictable are we talking about here?
Think surprise hotel rendezvous, edible lingerie, rose petals, anything to shake things up.
Wow, that's definitely not your grandma's relationship advice. But I gotta admit, it sounds kind of fun.
I know, right? It's about keeping things fresh, reminding each other why you're together.
I like it. So great sex is a powerful tool for keeping the relationship strong.
Exactly. It deepens intimacy, creates those shared memories, and strengthens the bond.
This is all incredibly insightful. It really challenges a lot of those old school relationship ideas.
Yeah, it's definitely a fresh perspective, but it also reminds us that attraction is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right, it's a starting point, but there's so much more to building a healthy and lasting connection.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, he also stresses the importance of carefully screening potential partners.
Ah, that's important. So even if there's that initial spark, it's about looking beyond the surface.
Exactly. And he uses this example of women who shower you with excessive validation early on.
Oh, interesting. So being showered with compliments might not be a good thing.
Right. He suggests it could actually be a red flag, potentially indicating insecurity.
So they might be looking for external validation rather than genuine connection.
Exactly. So how do you know if someone's truly a good fit for you in the long run?
Well, he emphasizes that a healthy relationship requires balance.
Yeah.
both partners should be self-assured, contribute equally, and genuinely care about each other's well-being.
It's about finding someone who supports you, challenges you, and adds value to your life.
Not someone who just fills a void or feeds your ego.
That's a great way to put it. It's about a partnership built on mutual respect, admiration, and a genuine desire to grow together.
I love that. So we've covered a lot of ground here, from that initial spark of attraction to building a deeper connection and even navigating the complexities of long-term relationships.
It's amazing how much insight we've gleaned from these recordings already.
It really is. And it's just the tip of the iceberg, folks. We've got a lot more to unpack in these recordings, so stay tuned.
You won't want to miss it. Welcome back, everyone. I don't know about you, but my head's still spinning from that last segment. So much to think about, especially about those crucial first interactions.
Right. It's amazing how much goes on beneath the surface when it comes to attraction. There's a whole dynamic at play that we're often not even aware of.
And speaking of awareness, I've been thinking a lot about that idea of projecting coolness that the speaker keeps emphasizing. What's your take on that?
Yeah, he really hammers that home, doesn't he? It's definitely not about arrogance or trying to act aloof.
Right. It's more about the energy you bring, that first impression you make.
Exactly. Think about your body language, the way you hold yourself, even your style and tonality. It all sends a message.
So it's not just about what you say, but how you present yourself.
Exactly. He gives that great example with the Wonder Woman Barbie doll opener we talked about earlier. It's not just about the story, it's the way you tell it.
Oh, yeah. He was really specific about projecting confidence, using humor, and keeping the focus on yourself.
Right. It's about owning the interaction, not seeking her approval, just letting your personality shine through.
And not being afraid to stand out, be a little different.
Exactly. And he actually cautions against asking too many questions early on.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That goes against a lot of typical dating advice, right?
Totally. Most people say you should try to find common ground, ask lots of questions to get to know someone.
But his logic is that if you haven't established that initial attraction, all those questions can backfire.
It's like you're trying too hard, coming across as needy.
Exactly. So first, you got to build that spark, then let the conversation flow more naturally.
It's like setting the stage, creating that magnetic pull, and then letting her come to you.
So instead of peppering her with questions, you're leading the interaction, showcasing your personality.
Right. And once you've got her hooked, then you can sprinkle in those smaller questions, those moments of connection.
It's like you're the star of the show, and she's the captivated audience.
I love that analogy. But remember, it's not about being a jerk or putting on a fake persona. It's about finding that sweet spot between confidence and authenticity.
So genuine confidence, not arrogance.
Exactly. Now, I know a lot of guys struggle with building confidence. What's his advice for those who aren't naturally brimming with it?
He's all about practice and repetition. He says the more you face those situations that make you anxious, the easier it becomes. So the more you approach women, the less scary it gets.
Right, like anything else, practice makes perfect.
Exactly. But let's be real, rejection is part of the game. How do you deal with that without letting it crush your confidence?
He's pretty straightforward about that, too. He says rejection is inevitable. It's just part of the process.
It's not a reflection of your worth, more like a sign of incompatibility.
Yeah, or just bad timing.
Exactly. And instead of taking it personally, he encouraged you to see it as feedback.
Like a scientist conducting experiments.
I like that. Not every experiment is going to be a success,
Yeah.
but you learn something valuable from each one.
Exactly. Even approaching women, regardless of the outcome, builds that resilience.
It shows you're willing to put yourself out there, face your fears.
And that fearlessness, that's attractive in itself, isn't it?
For sure. It shows you're a man of action, not someone who sits on the sidelines.
Okay, I want to circle back to physical touch. It seems like he places a lot of emphasis on that, but how do you initiate it without being creepy?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question. It's all about being tactful, gradual, and reading your cues.
So starting with light, playful touches, like a high five or a nudge.
Exactly. And remember that example of asking for a neck rub or a back scratch?
Oh, yeah. That's brilliant. It's playful, creates an opportunity for touch, but doesn't put pressure on her.
And it gives her a chance to reciprocate if she's feeling it.
Right. He also stresses that women genuinely do want to be touched, but by the right guy, someone they feel comfortable with.
So it's about building that trust, that sense of safety and connection.
Absolutely. And this ties into his advice about building sexual tension and that smooth transition towards intimacy.
Oh yeah, this is where things get interesting. So what's his secret sauce for creating that spark?
He's all about taking charge, being the one to initiate and escalate things gradually.
So ditch the whole wait for her to make the first move advice.
Well, not completely. He still emphasizes reading her cues and responding accordingly.
It's about being attuned to her body language, being bold, but also respectful.
Exactly. Finding that balance is key, and he cautions against waiting too long, which can kill the mood.
It's about seizing the moment when it feels right.
Now, remember how we talked about setting up your home environment?
Yeah, creating that inviting atmosphere.
He really emphasizes those little details, the comfortable furniture, the soft lighting.
It's all about creating a space that feels different, special.
Right. He even suggests going a step further, like having condoms readily available.
It's about taking initiative, being prepared.
Exactly. It shows you're confident and thoughtful.
This is blowing my mind. It's like a whole new playbook for dating.
It really is. Now, shifting gears a bit, he also talks about navigating long-term relationships.
Ah, yes. So it's not just about the initial spark. It's about building something lasting.
Exactly. And he emphasizes the importance of mutual self-validation.
That's right. Finding partners who are already secure, they don't need constant reassurance.
It's about complementing each other, not completing each other.
So both individuals are bringing their own strengths and confidence to the table.
Right, and that avoids those codependent dynamics where you're relying on each other to fill your voids.
And he also warns against spreading yourself too thin.
Ah, yes, that whole relating to too many people thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in work, friends, hobbies, social media.
It leaves little time and energy for your partner.
Right. And it can drain you emotionally.
So it's about being mindful of your commitments and prioritizing that quality time with your partner.
Okay, now for the topic that everyone's been waiting for, sex. He definitely has some interesting perspectives on this.
This is where things get really juicy. Remember that whole connection he made between a passionate argument and amazing sex?
Oh yeah, that blew my mind. So are you telling me couples should start picking fights to spice things up?
Not exactly. He's not advocating for a constant bickering, but he suggests that those heightened emotions, that vulnerability that comes out during an argument, can actually enhance intimacy.
So it's about tapping into that raw energy, that passion.
Exactly. And then, of course, he encourages couples to keep things exciting in the bedroom.
Okay, spill the beans. What kind of excitement are we talking about?
He talks about surprising each other, trying new things, breaking out of the routine.
Like those surprise hotel rendezvous he mentioned.
Exactly. Or edible lingerie, rose petals, anything to add that element of surprise.
Wow, this is definitely not your typical relationship advice.
Ugh.
But it sounds like he's on to something.
Right. It's about keeping the spark alive, reminding each other why you're together.
And he really emphasizes that great sex can be a powerful force in a relationship.
It deepens intimacy, creates those shared memories, strengthens that bond.
It's not just about physical pleasure, it's about nurturing the emotional connection too.
Exactly. So it sounds like he's advocating for a more holistic approach to sex, where it's not just about the act itself, but about the emotional intimacy surrounding it.
Absolutely. And it makes you think about the deeper layers of attraction in relationships, going beyond just that initial spark.
Speaking of which, remember his advice about screening potential partners?
Oh yeah, looking beyond that surface level attraction.
Even if you feel that initial pull, it's crucial to assess whether someone is truly compatible in the long run.
And remember that example he gave about women who are overly complimentary early on?
Oh, the excessive validation thing?
Right. He suggests that could be a red flag,
Yeah.
potentially indicating insecurity.
It's like they're seeking external validation to boost their self-esteem.
Exactly. And that can lead to all sorts of problems down the line.
So how do you figure out if someone is genuinely a good fit for you?
Well, he emphasizes balance. Both partners should be self-assured, contribute equally to the relationship, and genuinely care for each other's well-being.
It's about finding someone who supports you, challenges you, and adds value to your life, not someone who just fills a void.
That's so important. And it makes me think about that shoe sale opener again. Does it really work?
He swears by it. He says it's a fun, lighthearted way to break the ice.
But wouldn't it come across as cheesy or trying too hard?
He stresses that it's all about the delivery, your confidence, your playfulness, the energy you bring.
So it's about the subtext, not just the words themselves.
Exactly. It's a playful way to spark her curiosity and make her want to engage.
It's like that initial hook that sets the stage for everything else.
He also talks about isolation, which sounds a little sneaky, but he makes it seem natural.
Yeah, like those games he mentioned, Super Spy or the Cube game.
Right. It's about creating that sense of exclusivity, like she's in on a secret.
It's playful, but also assertive, like you're taking the lead and guiding her away from the group.
Exactly, but it all comes down to being respectful and reading her cues. If she's not into it, you back off.
Now, all this talk about attraction and techniques can feel a little manipulative if you're not careful.
He addresses that head on. He's clear that this isn't about treating women like objects or playing games.
It's about understanding the psychology of attraction, but also about personal growth.
It's about becoming the best version of yourself so you naturally attract the right kind of women.
So it's not about tricks or shortcuts. It's about self-improvement and genuine confidence.
Exactly. It's about living a life you're passionate about, setting goals, pursuing your interests.
It's about creating a life that women would want to be a part of.
Now, he goes into a lot of detail about navigating those early interactions, especially in a busy place like a club.
That could be intimidating. How do you even approach someone in that kind of environment?
He suggests starting with eye contact, gauging her interest.
Okay, so if she smiles back or holds your gaze.
Then a simple hi or hello can be enough.
Sometimes all it takes is a smile and a nod to break the ice.
Exactly. It's all about those nonverbal cues.
And once you've made that initial connection, he emphasizes keeping things light and playful.
Using humor, a bit of teasing, nothing too serious.
So establishing that fun, flirty dynamic early on.
Right. And he also suggests incorporating light touches, like a brief touch on her arm or shoulder.
It's about creating that physical awareness, but always making sure she's comfortable.
Now, once you've got that banter going, he talks about qualifying her.
Qualifying. What does that mean?
It's about figuring out if she's someone you'd actually want to spend more time with, beyond the initial attraction.
So getting to know her on a deeper level, beyond the superficial.
Exactly. He suggests asking about her interests, her passions, what she values.
And of course, being genuine and authentic yourself, sharing your own passions, and seeing if there's a spark. It's about finding that genuine connection, that mutual interest.
And remember, it's not a one-way street. She's qualifying you too.
So it's about presenting your best self, letting her see what you bring to the table.
Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, her friends. How do you handle that?
That can be intimidating. It's like you've got a whole panel of judges.
He emphasizes being friendly and respectful to her friends, even if your focus is on her.
So being charming and personable to the whole group, not just the girl you're interested in?
Exactly, because her friends' opinions matter, and they can influence her decisions.
So you got to win over the whole crew.
He even suggests finding common ground with her friends, things you can all talk about.
It's about building rapport, which can make it easier to isolate her later.
And speaking of isolation, he stresses that it's a crucial step in escalating the interaction.
But how do you pull that off without being rude or disrespectful?
He suggests things like finding a quieter spot to talk, maybe suggesting a change of venue.
Or using those playful games as a pretext to get her alone.
Exactly. It's about being assertive, taking the lead, but also being respectful of her friend's time.
And if her friends are super protective, he says humor is key. It's about disarming them, reassuring them that you're not a threat.
Okay, let's talk about approach anxiety. I think we all experience that to some degree.
Especially in a high-pressure environment like a club.
He's got some great advice for that. First, he reminds us that it's completely normal to feel nervous.
So don't beat yourself up for feeling those butterflies.
Exactly. And he emphasizes that practice makes perfect. The more you approach women, the easier it gets.
It's about facing that fear and getting comfortable with the discomfort.
He even suggests setting small, achievable goals.
Like approaching one woman every time you go out.
And he says focus on the process, not the outcome.
So don't get hung up on whether you get her number or not. Just enjoy the interaction.
He also recommends practicing your approach in low-pressure environments.
Like coffee shops or bookstores.
It's a great way to build your confidence before tackling those more intimidating settings.
And he's a big believer in cultivating a positive self-image.
It's about seeing yourself as an attractive, confident man.
And that inner confidence will radiate outward.
Now, once you've approached a woman and initiated a conversation, how do you take it to the next level, build that deeper connection?
That's the key, right? It's not just about that initial spark. It's about creating something more meaningful.
He emphasizes emotional connection, asking open-ended questions about her passions, her dreams, her fears.
It's about being present, listening attentively, making her feel heard and understood.
And sharing your own vulnerabilities too, letting her see the real you.
So being open and genuine, not trying to project a perfect image.
Right, because vulnerability builds trust and intimacy.
He also talks about the importance of flirting and teasing.
It keeps things fun and playful, prevents the conversation from getting too serious too soon.
That back and forth banter can be really powerful.
And of course, don't forget about physical touch.
Those light, playful touches that build comfort and connection.
He encourages escalating gradually as the connection deepens.
But always reading her cues and making sure she's comfortable with the pace.
Okay, let's talk about something that I know trips a lot of guys up: rejection.
Yeah, it's inevitable. But how do you handle it without letting it crush you?
He emphasizes not taking it personally.
It's not a reflection of your worth.
Right, there could be countless reasons why she's not interested, and most of them have nothing to do with you.
Maybe she's in a relationship or just not in the right headspace for dating.
Exactly. And instead of dwelling on it, he encourages you to see it as feedback.
A chance to learn and grow.
He even suggests analyzing the interaction, seeing what you could have done differently.
So it's about continuous improvement, refining your approach.
And above all, maintaining a positive mindset.
It's about believing in yourself
Yeah.
and your ability to connect with amazing women.
Okay, let's talk about those tests and challenges that women throw our way.
This is something a lot of guys get confused about, trying to decipher what's going on.
He explains that it's a way for women to assess your confidence, your character, your compatibility.
So it's like a screening process, weeding
Yeah.
out the guys who aren't a good fit.
Exactly. And his advice: stay calm, confident, and unfazed by those tests.
Don't let them rattle you or make you question your worth.
He even encourages you to see them as opportunities to shine, to showcase your best qualities.
So instead of getting defensive, use them as a chance to build attraction.
Okay, let's dive into one of the most important skills he emphasizes: building sexual tension.
This is something a lot of guys struggle with, especially those who are new to dating.
He explains that it's about creating that sense of anticipation and excitement.
It's that electric energy, that will they or won't they dynamic.
Exactly. And eye contact is crucial, he says. Locking eyes, holding her gaze a little longer than usual.
It creates that instant connection, that intensity.
And he suggests incorporating playful touches too, not just the light, friendly kind.
Oh, so getting a little more suggestive with the touch.
Exactly, like brushing her arm while you're talking, letting your hand linger on her back.
It's about creating that physical awareness, building anticipation.
And he talks about using your voice seductively.
Speaking in a lower tone, using pauses for effect.
It's amazing how much nonverbal communication plays a role in attraction.
It really is. And he emphasizes the importance of humor and teasing, keeping that playful energy going.
And being unpredictable, throwing in something unexpected to keep her on her toes.
It's about being bold, creative, and keeping her guessing.
Now, let's talk about one of the biggest mistakes guys make: being too needy or desperate.
I think a lot of guys fall into this trap when they're really into a woman.
He says neediness is a huge turnoff because it signals a lack of confidence.
It's like you're seeking her validation to feel good about yourself.
Exactly. He encourages projecting an aura of abundance, that sense that you have options.
It's like you're not putting all your eggs in one basket.
And he emphasizes the importance of maintaining your own life and interests.
So don't make her the center of your universe.
Keep pursuing your passions, spending time with friends, living a fulfilling life.
It shows you're a well-rounded, interesting person, and that's attractive in itself.
Now let's talk about creating a sense of mystery and intrigue.
This seems tough in the age of social media, where everyone overshares.
He emphasizes the importance of holding back a little, not revealing everything about yourself right away.
It's about being a bit elusive, leaving her wanting more.
Don't lay all your cards on the table on the first date.
Be a bit of a puzzle, a challenge.
He even suggests being a bit playful and ambiguous in your responses, not always giving a straight answer.
It's about sparking her curiosity, making her wonder.
And he recommends using storytelling to paint a picture of your life.
But leaving out some details, letting her fill in the gaps.
It's about capturing her imagination, making her want to learn more.
Okay, let's talk about one of the most important aspects of attraction: building a genuine connection.
It's easy to get caught up in the initial spark and forget about nurturing that deeper bond.
He emphasizes listening attentively, showing genuine interest,
Asking open-ended questions, making her feel heard and understood.
and being vulnerable yourself, sharing your authentic self,
Not trying to present a perfect facade.
because vulnerability builds trust and intimacy.
He also talks about finding commonalities, those shared interests and values.
It's about identifying those things that bring you together, create that sense of shared purpose,
And don't forget about playfulness and lightheartedness.
keeping things fun, being spontaneous, injecting joy and excitement into the interaction.
Because laughter and shared joy are powerful bonding agents.
Okay, let's talk about the fear of rejection. I think that's something every guy experiences at some point.
Absolutely. It's a natural part of putting yourself out there.
But how do you deal with it without letting it crush your confidence?
He stresses the importance of not taking it personally.
It's not a reflection of your worth.
Exactly. It could be a matter of compatibility, circumstance, bad timing.
Maybe she's just not the right fit for you.
And instead of dwelling on it, use it as feedback, a chance to learn and grow.
Analyze the interaction. See what you could have done differently.
And above all, maintain a positive mindset.
Believe in yourself and your ability to attract amazing women.
Okay, let's talk about that whole mystery and intrigue thing.
That seems so difficult in today's world of oversharing on social media.
He emphasizes holding back a little, not revealing everything about yourself right away.
Be a bit elusive. Leave her wanting more.
Don't spill all your secrets on the first date.
Be a bit of a puzzle, a challenge to unravel.
He suggests being playful and ambiguous in your responses, not always giving a straight answer.
So, spark her curiosity. Make her work a little to get to know you.
And he recommends using storytelling to your advantage.
Tell engaging stories, but leave out some details. Pique her interest.
Because a sense of mystery can be incredibly alluring.
It makes you more interesting, more desirable.
Okay, let's circle back to building that genuine connection, because that's what it's all about ultimately.
It's easy to get swept up in the initial attraction, but building a real bond is crucial.
He emphasizes listening attentively, showing genuine interest, making her feel heard and understood.
Asking open-ended questions, delving deeper than just surface-level conversation.
And being vulnerable yourself, sharing your authentic self, creating that trust and intimacy.
He also talks about finding commonalities, those shared interests and values that form the foundation of a strong connection.
It's about identifying those things that draw you together, create that sense of shared purpose.
And of course, he emphasizes playfulness and lightheartedness, keeping things fun and spontaneous, injecting joy and excitement into the interaction.
Because laughter and shared joy are powerful bonding agents.
Okay, let's tackle the fear of rejection head-on, because I know it's something that holds a lot of guys back.
It's a natural human emotion, but it doesn't have to control you.
So how do you overcome that fear and put yourself out there?
He reminds us that rejection is not a reflection of your worth.
It's often just a matter of compatibility, circumstances, or timing.
It might simply mean you weren't a good fit for that particular woman.
And instead of dwelling on it, see it as an opportunity for growth.
Analyze the interaction, identify what you could have done differently.
It's about continuous improvement, refining your approach over time.
And most importantly, cultivate a positive mindset.
Believe in yourself and your ability to connect with amazing women.
Now, let's talk about creating that sense of mystery and intrigue, which seems so elusive in today's world.
Social media encourages oversharing, making it hard to maintain that air of mystery.
He emphasizes holding back a little, not revealing everything about yourself right away.
Be a bit elusive. Let her imagination run wild.
Don't give away all your secrets on the first date.
Let her work a little to get to know you. Unravel the layers of your personality.
He suggests being playful and ambiguous in your responses.
Don't always give a straight answer. Keep her guessing.
And he recommends using storytelling to your advantage.
Tell captivating stories, but leave out some details to pique her curiosity.
Because a sense of mystery can be incredibly alluring.
It makes you more interesting, more desirable.
Okay, let's circle back to building that genuine connection, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
It's easy to get swept up in the initial attraction and forget about nurturing that deeper bond.
He stresses the importance of listening attentively, making her feel heard and understood.
Asking open-ended questions, going beyond surface-level conversation.
And being vulnerable yourself, letting her see your authentic self.
It's about building trust and intimacy by being real.
He also talks about finding commonalities, those shared interests and values that form the foundation of a strong connection.
It's about finding those things that draw you together, create that sense of shared purpose.
And, of course, he emphasizes playfulness and lightheartedness.
Keeping things fun and spontaneous, adding that spark of joy and excitement.
Because laughter and shared joy are powerful bonding agents.
Okay, let's talk about a topic that often causes confusion for guys. Those tests and challenges that women throw our way.
It's like they're speaking a different language sometimes.
He explains that it's a way for women to gauge your confidence, your character, your compatibility.
It's a natural filtering process, weeding out the guys who aren't a good fit.
So it's not about taking it personally or getting defensive.
He encourages you to stay calm, confident, and unfazed by those tests.
Use them as an opportunity to showcase your best qualities, turn a potential rejection into an attraction builder.
Now let's talk about one of the most powerful skills he emphasizes, building sexual tension.
This can be a bit of a mystery for some guys, especially those who are new to dating.
He explains it as creating that sense of anticipation and excitement.
It's that electric energy, that will they or won't they dynamic that keeps things interesting.
Exactly. And eye contact is key. Locking eyes, holding her gaze a little longer than usual.
It creates that instant connection, that intensity.
And he suggests incorporating playful touches, not just the friendly kind.
Oh, so getting a little more suggestive with the touch.
Exactly. Like brushing her arm while you're talking, letting your hand linger on her back.
It's about creating that physical awareness, building anticipation.
And don't underestimate the power of your voice. He talks about using it seductively.
Speaking in a lower tone, using pauses for effect.
It's amazing how much nonverbal communication plays a role in attraction.
It really is. And he emphasizes humor and teasing, keeping that playful energy going.
And being unpredictable. Throwing in something unexpected to keep her on her toes.
It's about being bold, creative, and keeping her guessing.
Now, let's talk about one of the biggest mistakes guys make, being too needy or desperate.
It's so easy to fall into that trap when you're really into someone.
He says neediness is a major turnoff because it signals a lack of confidence and self-assurance.
It's like you're relying on her validation to feel good about yourself.
Exactly. Instead, focus on projecting an aura of abundance, that sense that you have options, you don't need any one woman.
So don't put all your eggs in one basket.
And maintain your own life and interests outside of dating.
Don't make her the center of your universe.
Keep pursuing your passions, spending time with friends, living a fulfilling life.
Because having a rich and vibrant life, independent of a romantic relationship, makes you more attractive.
Okay, let's talk about creating that sense of mystery and intrigue, which can be challenging in today's world.
Social media encourages us to overshare, making it hard to maintain that air of mystery.
He stresses the importance of holding back, not revealing everything about yourself right away.
Be a bit elusive. Leave her wanting more.
Don't give away all your secrets on the first date.
Let her unravel the layers of your personality, piece by piece.
He suggests being playful and ambiguous in your responses, not always giving a straight answer.
So spark her curiosity, keep her guessing.
And he recommends using storytelling to your advantage.
Tell captivating stories, but leave out some details to pique her interest.
Because a sense of mystery can be incredibly alluring.
It makes you more interesting, more desirable.
Now, let's circle back to building that genuine connection, because that's what it's all about, ultimately.
It's so easy to get caught up in the initial spark, but nurturing that deeper bond is what matters most.
He emphasizes listening attentively, making her feel heard and understood.
Asking open-ended questions, going beyond surface-level conversation.
And being vulnerable yourself, sharing your authentic self, building trust and intimacy.
He also talks about finding commonalities, those shared interests and values that form the foundation of a strong connection.
It's about finding those things that draw you together, create that sense of shared purpose. And, of course, he emphasizes playfulness and lightheartedness.
Keeping things fun and spontaneous, adding that spark of joy and excitement to the interaction.
Because laughter and shared joy are powerful bonding agents.
All right, let's tackle a topic that often causes confusion for guys. Those tests and challenges that women sometimes throw our way.
It can feel like they're speaking a different language, right?
He explains that it's a natural way for women to assess your confidence, character, and compatibility.
They want to see how you handle yourself under pressure.
So it's a filtering process, helping them weed out the guys who aren't a good fit.
Exactly. And his advice: stay calm, confident, and unfazed by those tests.
Don't let them rattle you or make you question your worth.
Use them as an opportunity to showcase your best qualities, turn a potential rejection into an attraction builder.
It's like they're trying to figure out if you're the real deal or just putting on a show.
Exactly. And the key is not to let those tests throw you off your game.
So how do you handle those tests gracefully?
He emphasizes staying calm and collected, not letting your emotions get the best of you.
So basically, don't react defensively or try to prove yourself.
Right. It's about maintaining that inner confidence, showing her that you're not easily rattled.
He actually encourages you to see those tests as opportunities.
Opportunities? How so?
He says it's a chance to showcase your best qualities, like your confidence and resilience.
I see. So instead of letting those tests trip you up, you use them to build attraction.
Exactly. It's about turning a potential negative into a positive. Now, we've talked a lot about those initial interactions, but how do you move things forward, especially in a crowded place like a club?
That's a great question. He suggests transitioning to a more intimate setting.
Okay, so how do you make that happen smoothly?
One tactic he recommends is suggesting a change of venue.
So, like mentioning a quieter bar nearby or inviting her to join you and your friends for a bite to eat.
Exactly. It's about creating a natural progression, not making it feel like a big deal.
So keep it casual and playful.
Right. He also emphasizes the importance of giving her an out, letting her know she doesn't have to feel obligated.
So something like, hey, if you're up for it, my friends and I are grabbing some food later.
Exactly. It takes the pressure off and lets her feel like she's in control. These recordings are full of practical advice. It's like getting a crash course in the art of attraction.
It's been incredibly insightful. It makes you realize that there's a real strategy to this whole dating thing.
There definitely is. But it's important to remember that it's not about manipulation or treating women like objects.
Absolutely not. It's about self-improvement, becoming the best version of yourself.
Exactly. It's about attracting the right kind of women into your life, those who are genuinely compatible with you.
So it's about being respectful, understanding their needs, and creating a dynamic that's fulfilling for both people involved. This deep dive has been a game changer. It's made me rethink my whole approach to dating and relationships. What's been the biggest takeaway for you?
I think what struck me most is how he blends that practical advice with real psychological insights. It's not just about the techniques, it's about understanding the why behind them.
It's about being more mindful and intentional in our approach to love and connection.
Exactly. And realizing that we have more control over our romantic lives than we often think.
So for everyone listening, we challenge you to think about this. If you could add one exciting element to your life right now, what would it be? A new hobby, a challenging goal, a new circle of friends.
What would it take to amp up your happiness and, yes, even your attractiveness? We'd love to hear your thoughts, share your insights with us on social media. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep diving deep.